This is the country Iran I have come from. I've come from the northern part of Iran, beside the Caspian Sea. I was born in a nominal Islamic family. My parents encouraged me to be a religious boy because I was managing well in the school, and they thought I could become a good religious boy. They invested in my life. They didn't know I was going to be a good religious boy like this. Otherwise, they wouldn't spend in my life. But they did. I was 9 years old, able to read and recite the Quran from the beginning to the end in Arabic, without knowing the meaning of it. And that made me a famous boy in the area. People called me to their religious events. I recited the Quran for them. And especially at the last day of the month of Ramadan, that's the month of fasting, they go to the cemeteries and hire people who can recite and read the Quran, so that by that they can gain rewards or awards for their dead people. It's a long story anyway. From childhood, we learned that Christians and Jews are unclean people. The Quran is saying that they are unclean people. And we learned that if we touch them, we become unclean. We have to rush and wash ourselves in a religious way. We learned also if we give them a glass of water, we shouldn't bring the glass inside the building. We have to leave it outside and to purify it in an Islamic way and then take it in. If we do that, we are going to make whole the building unclean. Then it's costly to purify the building. You have to pay a lot to some clerics come to do something, there. Eat 1 week in your house, so it's costly. Unfortunately, these are the products of Saudi Arabia that was practiced in that country 1400 years ago, and through Muhammad came into Islamic belief, and from there exported to other countries. For you, for Saudi Arabia, you're unclean. Even, there are written things around the, central shrine in Saudi Arabia called Mecca. 24 kilometers from everywhere to Mecca is written, entry for non-Muslim is forbidden. Because if you enter there, you're making the holy places unclean. I read actually in a book that Saudi Arabia today even does not let the airplanes to cross the air of Mecca. They think there might be a Jew or a Christian inside the airplane. They make they pollute the air. So this is the mindset have gone to all Islamic nations, and many of them, especially who are committed Muslims, they practice it. From childhood also we learn that the words Christianity and Jew are swear words. People fight with each other, two Muslims fight with each other, they call each other Jew or Christian, especially the word Jew is so bad. So this is the mindset of people. They do not know anything about Christianity. They do not know anything about Christ. And they just, from childhood, they are brainwashed and live with it. And they do not have any pity for these people. I am coming from that mindset, from that life. And I really praise his name, that he changed my life, brought us from that thick darkness. I have stories with him, even since I was a young lad. Stories, dreams, visions. Some of them made me angry because the word of Christianity was in it. But all of them became powerful stories after I believed in Christ. My first story started with Jesus while I was in year 7. We have some young people here, possibly that interests them. One day we 7 boys got together in the playground of the school, trying to find a game and play with each other. One of the boys said, "I know a game." He took a paper from his notebook, divided in 7, went in a corner, wrote something inside each, folded them, rolled them very well, and came to us, mixed them very well, and then said to us, each one of us going to take one and open in turn. The things written inside each, he said, is our future, job or whatever. We each took one, and then we were fighting with each other who should be the first, second, third, or the last one. Some of us were fighting to be the last one. However, I succeeded. I became the 7th one. We were in year 7, 7 boys. I was the 7th one, opened it. The first one opened, there was written, "You'll become a teacher." We tried to make it our time fun, we jumped, showed excitement, clapped there. The second one, "You'll become a mayor." The other one, governor, engineer, army officer, something like that. At the end, I opened mine, there was written, "You'll become a Christian." No excitement anymore. I was embarrassed, angry. I went and attacked that boy. I said, "I have to kill you." He actually screamed. He was afraid. The other friends were afraid. He said to me, "Did I write that for you? Did I put in your hand? I mixed them very well. I could have taken that. It's your problem. It's your future. You're blaming me." He was right. He really, with his word, just targeted my heart. And for that reason, I didn't kill him. But I did not play with them anymore. I went and found a quiet place, started to weep there and complain to God. Why did you let that to happen to me? This is embarrassing. This is shame. By the way, they all had good jobs. Mine is the ugliest one. It's the unclean one. Well, that was my first story, made me angry. And after that, I had dreams and other things. As I mentioned, they became powerful for me, and they taught me that Jesus was with me. He had a plan for me. And I went through all those difficulties and up and downs, but eventually his plan is plan. No one was able to stop it. From year 9, from grade 9, I became very much interested in poetry, Iranian poetry. I have myself many poems in two languages, in Persian and in Azerbaijani. One of my poems is 110 pages. It's just about the glory of Jesus. It speaks to the wounded land, Iran, why you are sick, why you are wounded, what's the remedy for you. Now, Iranian poetry encouraged me to practice talking to God. It's a kind of religious practice that many people, even the practicer of that, believe that it's Islamic, but it's not Islamic really. They have borrowed a lot from Christian values. They think that if you practice talking to God in this world, you might be, absorbed in God, or in other words, reach to God. I love to talk to God because I wanted to be a successful man, especially to finish my education, to complete my education. I had a lot of difficulties, and especially financial difficulties. My parents were not able to support me, so I was working even I was a young lad, and also talking to God and reading many times those powerful, poems. And in Iranian poetry, Jesus is the hero, no one else, not Muhammad, because he is the example of simplicity. A lot of powerful things are told about Jesus. However, I finished my high school, and entered university. At the first 6 months, I finished all my savings. I was not able to study in the university, but I loved really to finish my study. I had no choice but to sleep under the bridges in the capital city, Tehran, to finish my study. I really loved to finish my study. Eventually, 2 of my classmates helped me, and they gave me shelter for 2.5 years, and I was able to finish my bachelor. But that caused me to be angry at God, that I have spoken to you years, and you're ignoring me. Gradually, I was involved with the communist boys and girls and called myself communist without knowing anything about communism. But I took part in the discussional meetings. That was about 4 years, between 3 and 4 years before the revolution. Discussion in the university, especially ideological discussion, was so hard. And I took part in them. I loved them. People were asking many questions, but I was not able to, understand some of them or respond to some of them. That caused me to start to read the philosophical books from both sides, religious side and also materialistic side. After 1 year, I discovered there must be a God for the universe. Consequently, I went back to Islam. I didn't know any other religion. Now, I read philosophy, but that philosophy was not teaching me which religion is the best. That philosophy was saying to me, is religious philosophy, genuine or materialistic philosophy? Because I didn't know any other religion, so consequently I went to Islam. But this time it was different. I became radical Muslim because all Muslim boys and girls in the university, they were very active and very militant and committed. We followed Ayatollah Khomeini in that time. Possibly some of you remember him. He was in Iraq first, and Saddam Hussein forced him out because Saddam is Sunni, Ayatollah was Shiite, they didn't like each other, and Saddam forced him out, and he went to France, and France welcomed him very warmly. It's the long story, unfortunately. Western countries welcomed him very warmly, but they have a hope to use him as a shield in front of Russian communism. From Paris, we got letters from him. He gave us orders, and through his guidance, we put pressure on the ruling king, created chaos inside the country, and the king escaped. We captured the country. Ayatollah entered the country. The day he entered the country, I cried, like many other students. We were so excited. We said, we're going to have freedom in this country, democracy in this country. Ayatollah has promised us everybody would have freedom. And he said Islam believes in freedom. Even atheists and communists, secular Muslims, they would have freedom. We were excited. In the second week, with our religious group, we went and visited Ayatollah, congratulated him, committed ourselves to him, and promised him to make every single Iranian radical Muslim and to take Islam to the end of the world and bring a beautiful freedom to people. Now, Western countries have freedom, but they have a stolen freedom from us, mixed with other immoralities. We are going to have ourselves freedom, be an example for them, and make them also Muslim. This is the photo I have taken from him. He's sitting here. After that, because I was a famous boy for some religious leaders, I had done some naughty things in the time of King while I was serving my 2 years in garrison. Immediately after that, I was called with 2 other men. This is me here, 25 years old. With this man, there is another one who is not there. to start a revolutionary army. Now, the goal of the revolutionary army was to go capture Israel and kill all the Jews and make Israel as an Islamic state. Now, this revolutionary army started Hezbollah in Lebanon. Hezbollah belongs to Iranian government. It's amazing that in 25 years they have captured Lebanon. They are still supported, and possibly you saw that after recent war, that Iran was paying millions of dollars, to those people who needed to rebuild their houses there. However, later, because of political reason, it didn't work. We couldn't continue. And I went and became active in another area. That's me again. This is me here praying in a mountainside. You see 3 men are following me there in prayer. They are united with me in prayer. Mountainside is so important for radical Muslims. They mark some strategic places. They hide themselves there, or they go and have meeting with themselves there. And after that, they come invade, and again they go and hide themselves in the mountainside. You know that. You have seen Osama bin Laden or Taliban, they are living in mountainside. Or those 4 boys last year were involved in suicide bombing in England. They just came from mountain. That's important. And I'm sure if those radical Muslims in this country, they are not yet caught, they have marked some mountainside in your country too, because it's important for them. That's why we were practicing every facet of life to prepare ourselves. As I mentioned to you, after that, I became involved with mobilizing young boys and girls, like many other leaders, preparing them for our second major goal. Our second major goal was to destroy America. Therefore, we needed to prepare all our young people, mobilize all young Iranian people. This is me here, young boy, young girl, just photo shows 3 of us there. We took them to the army camp and taught them the, terroristic techniques, the use of weapon to destroy America. Why America? Because America is a superpower Christian country in the world. America sends a lot of missionaries to the world. America has millions of Jews in this country. They support Israel to survive. America has, army agreement with many countries in the world. If we destroy America, our work is going to be easy for us. So that's why we were working with these younger people. This is my wife. She was also a zealous Muslim. She wanted to fight for the cause of Islam, like many other girls. And I found her a fiery girl, very zealous. I said, wow, this is mine. A good leader should have a good Muslim wife. Not many, but at that time, I didn't have even the one. And so for the same interest, we got married with each other. That's her again there with 2 other girls trying to learn the use of that rifle. This is our marriage day in the mosque. Now, marriage day, marriage is not held in the mosque in the Middle East, and especially in Iranian case, in your house or in a public place for new generation. But we wanted to make it popular. Mosque is so important. For Islam, everything starts from the mosque, especially jihad, war against non-Muslims. And everything should be done inside the mosque so people understand the significance of mosque. We were the first couple after the Islamic Revolution held our marriage in the mosque. We wanted to teach these younger people the significance of mosque. You see, younger girls are sitting here, younger boys here. You do not let them to sit with each other. They had to know the doctrine of Islam. According to the doctrine of Islam, if you build a mosque in a non-Islamic country, you own that country. That country after that is an Islamic country. Unfortunately, you know, a few leaders in Australia call Australia, Muslim leaders call Australia Muslim Australia, because there are mosques in that country. We wanted to teach them, because we were going to send them some as missionaries, some as terrorists. The first thing they do really bring some Muslims together and build a mosque, because millions of dollars of these Islamic countries are ready there, especially Saudi Arabia, to build mosque in every corner, you know, of this, you know, non-Islamic world. Interestingly, they do not let even Christians to pray in their countries. Saudi Arabia, it's a crime as a Christian to pray in that country, but is building mosque in every corner of America. They use freedom, but they do not give that freedom. And that's why we need to wake up. We need to wake up. I'm not saying that we have to stop them, but we have to teach them lesson. If it is good to use freedom, it's also good to give it to other people. So for that reason, we held our marriage in the mosque. This is our marriage day. Do we see any smile on their faces? No, Islam is the religion of anger and hatred. I encourage you to read the Quran. For hundreds and hundreds of times it says, go kill, hate, slaughter. There is a subject called angry subject. I was the teacher of that angry subject. Radical Muslim, committed Muslim, they teach their followers how to become angry, how to hate, how to cut the head of, you know, opposition or Christians or Jews. You teach them. It's not easy to cut the head of humankind. You teach them gradually, and they learn it. And that's why we are not smiling in front of our followers. They always have to learn the seriousness. This is after our marriage. You see his face there, how serious he is. My daughter is 5.5 years old here. That's why she's not covered like my wife. You cover your daughter from the age of 7, because the age of 7 is the age of marriage in Islam. If your daughter, your granddaughter, is 7, ready for marriage, a man comes 25, 30, 40, 60, you give your daughter. Muhammad's wife, one of his wives, was 6 years old, and he was 49. And Islamic tradition says she was consummated at the age of 8 or 9. That's my family. This is me here. Every Muslim man should have beard. Shaving is illegal in Islam. I became a powerful man, a politician, influential politician in the northern part of Iran, leading thousands of people, announced my candidacy for Islamic Parliament. But this time, we became opposition to the leader, but in a nice way. If you become really an opposition, it's a death penalty. It's so dangerous. We said we still